Throughout the pandemic, a lot of people have turned to freelancing as a way to escape the constraints that a normal corporate 9-to-5 job places on your life. But what exactly do people mean when they talk about freelancing, and how can you get involved? In this video, we're going to go over what freelancing is and some things that you need to think about if you want to become a freelancer. First, what is freelancing? Freelancing is when you, as a self-employed or contracting individual, are providing a service or product for a client. Even though you are providing something to them, you technically are not employed by them. There are many reasons why people may switch from working in a traditional workplace to a freelancing career. A lot of that has to do with the flexibility that freelancing offers. It can provide you with a great opportunity to work remotely and more flexibility in your overall schedule. It can also provide better work-life balance, but that is going to be dependent on the boundaries that you set and the work that you take on. So yeah, remote work sounds great, but what do freelancers actually do? There is really no limit to what services you can offer as a freelancer, and this is of course going to depend on the skill sets and interests that you have, as well as what is actually being demanded by clients. With freelancers, you'll see anything from graphic and web designers to writers to lawyers who are offering their legal services on a freelance basis. Now, freelancers typically work on a shorter term basis than a full-time employee would. How long short term is, though, is really dependent on your situation. The freelancing platform TopTool reports that its average project length is about 4 months, but you may come across other project opportunities that are a few days, a few weeks, or a few months. Something that prevents a lot of people from even attempting to freelance is the idea of like, what if I can't find work? Now, I am a believer that if you stick with something long enough, you can find a way to do it. And once you start joining some of these online freelancing platforms and reaching out to your existing network of people that you know, you'll probably be surprised at the number of jobs that are actually out there. Once you've done a few of those first freelancing projects and you build up a client base as well as your portfolio, you won't always have to work as hard to get clients, and a lot of times you'll have new clients come to you through your existing connections. So if you stick with it long enough, you will likely reach a point where you have consistent work flowing in and you won't have to always actively search for clients. What skills are actually required for freelancing? The skill set that you need is going to depend a lot on the job that you're actually wanting to do. Becoming a freelance graphic designer is going to require a completely different skill set than being a video editor or a writer. But there are some basic skill sets that all freelancers need to have. The first is time management, and this is going to be one of the biggest differences that you experience between a full-time corporate job and freelancing. There's not going to be anyone that is looking over your shoulder, making sure that you get things done or making sure that you apply to new jobs. That's all going to be on you. You're the only one that can make sure that you're actually hitting your deadlines. The second is communication. If you don't have communication skills or aren't willing to build them, you are not going to be able to freelance. You don't have to be an outgoing person by any means, but it is going to take effective communication from you and from your clients to be able to actually get anything done. You are going to have to be able to adapt and compromise sometimes with clients on what their expectations are as far as communication goes. You're going to get some clients that want to be totally hands-off and like never really want to talk to you ever. And then you're going to get some clients that want you on weekly meetings, want regular check-ins, and that overall just want to be pretty involved in the process. The more you work with a diversity of clients, the better you're going to get at defining your own communication style as well as identifying theirs. Some clients won't know what you're doing or what they even want for their projects, and some clients will know exactly what they want and will be super easy to work with. And as you gain more experience, you'll also get better at identifying these clients plans off the bat so that you know which ones you do and don't want to work with. Over time, you will get better at spotting those red flags, and as you grow your business, you won't have to take on every job that comes your way, so you get to be more picky about the communication styles that you want to work with. Third is the ability to take feedback, and arguably this is important for any job, but with your traditional corporate jobs, you may be able to push against feedback or ignore it and get away with it. But with freelancing, taking feedback is truly what will make or break you. A client has absolutely no obligation to hire you again, and at the end of each project, it's up to them to decide whether or not they want to work with you again. If you can't take feedback, you aren't going to be building those client relationships, you aren't going to be getting good reviews, and it's likely that freelancing will start to feel like searching for a new job every day. What niche is best for freelancing? It depends on what you want to get out of it, and this is going to be different for every single person, but what I would recommend is looking at the niche that you have a skill set in, and then look at the niches that clients are actually in. If your work is really cool, but it's not in demand, you aren't going to be able to make any money. But if you can take that skill and twist it in a way that clients want, you have the potential to grow a great freelancing business. If you really have no idea where to start in deciding your niche, I'll give you a few ideas, and these don't require you to go out and become a lawyer or anything. These can all be learned. They will take time, but they can be learned. First is programming and software development, social media video marketing, web design and development, content marketing and writing, graphic design, copywriting, and video editing. Another way that you can start figuring out the right niche for you is to go on sites like Upwork or Fiverr and just look through the categories that they have. This will start to spark some ideas on the areas that you can specialize in. Fiverr is especially good for this because of the way that it's set up with different gigs. As you scroll through those, it's very visual. You can start to click on things that you find interesting, and it should be pretty easy to spark some ideas from there. So how do you get started freelancing? I would recommend setting up kind of a business plan. And if you want a plan laid out for you for your first 30 days of freelancing, do check that link in the description, and I have a free guide for you guys down there that will lay out a plan for you. But all you really need is a basic idea of where you want to go with this business. It doesn't have to be a formal document or anything, but here are some of the things that you definitely need to think about. First thing you need to ask yourself is, what are my goals for freelancing? Do you want to work part-time? Do you want this to become your full-time gig? How much money do you want to make, and what kind of flexibility are you looking for? For some people, the goal is to become a full-time digital nomad. For other people, it's just to freelance part-time from their home and spend more time with their family. So defining these goals up front is going to help you cater your business to your own needs. Second question, what skills will be the basis for my freelancing business? So with this, you want to think about, yes, the things that you are skilled at, but also the things that you like and enjoy doing. Now, some people don't want to turn their skill sets into their jobs or into a part-time freelancing gig, but if there is something that you are particularly good at or knowledgeable about, that may be a good area to start in when deciding your niche. Third, who are your target clients? With this, you want to get really specific on the people that you want to end up working with. Are you looking to work with individuals or big businesses? Are you looking for short-term or long-term projects? Are you looking for the size of the project to be a small one or a big one? What kind of work style do you like? And what kind of client communication do you expect? By imagining that ideal client and really defining what that looks like, you'll have a better chance of making your freelancing business actually work for you. Fourth is, how will I package my services? There are a lot of different ways to go about this, but you need to start figuring things out, like how you are going to work. Is it going to be by project or by hour? How will you charge, and what will clients be paying through? What types of packages will you offer? Can you bundle any of your skills or services together to make a bigger package? At this stage, you should look into how other people in your same niche or your same skill set are packaging their services and pull some inspiration from there. Fifth, you're going to need to create a portfolio, and I don't care if you're a graphic designer designer or a writer or a lawyer. People need to see the work that you have done or the people that you have worked with. So whether that's a website, a PDF, or simply a profile on a freelancing platform, you need to have your work in some sort of portfolio format that you can send to potential clients. Sixth is going to be figuring out how you're going to be connecting with clients, and I'll give some suggestions for this in just a minute. But number 7 is to actually decide how you want your freelancing business set up. Are you going to do it as an individual, or are you going to set up an LLC or an S Corp or some other type of business structure to do your freelancing under? Once you start freelancing, what is the best way to find new clients? So one way is to start joining freelancing platforms. This would be websites like Upwork, Fiverr, TopTool, or Freelancer, and we don't necessarily recommend just one of these over the others. It's a good idea to sign up for a couple of them when you're first starting out and see how you like them. Some of them may work better with your skill or service that you're offering, and you may develop a preference or see some success on one of the platforms and not so much on the others. But the nice thing about these platforms is that it allows you to connect with clients that you wouldn't necessarily have access to otherwise, and often these clients are posting jobs that they need done right then. It can also provide an added level of security when you're first starting out. A lot of times these freelancing platforms will have their own methods for clients to actually pay you, and those payments will be secured so that you know that you will actually get paid. When you're working with clients individually, you are kind of taking a leap of faith when you onboard a new client because you don't know whether or not they'll actually pay you for your work. We can get into making your own contracts in another video, but using these freelancing platforms is going to be the easiest way around that. The second method is cold calling. Cold calling is reaching out to clients who you have never spoken to or connected with before and offering your services. Now, in the modern day, it is probably best to not actually pick up a phone and call someone, but you can find these companies' information on LinkedIn, and you can email them that way or find individuals that way, or even find the recruiters at companies who may be the ones who are actually hiring freelancers. And third, the most important, we have networking. Now, when people see other people working remote jobs or becoming digital nomads or whatever, and they're like, oh, how did you do that? Where did you find that job? A lot of those jobs are not posted. They come through people's networks. And your first few jobs will also likely come from your existing network. So tell your friends and your family, former coworkers, whoever it is that you're starting to freelance, and let them know what you're doing. As you continue to build your work and your portfolio, you'll likely have more and more people from your network and those people's networks that reach out to you and actually want to use you for your freelancing services. And remember that you can totally use all three of these methods of finding clients together, and I think it's good to do a little bit of each and find out what works for you. The bottom line is, if you want to become a freelancer, just give it a try. There's nothing to lose, and you don't have to do it alone. I've put together a free guide of how to become a freelancer in 30 days that lays out a plan for you to prep you for actually launching your freelance business. That link will be in the description, and hit the subscribe button for more freelancing tips.